Hello and welcome to another Arcanum Ventures 10-minute investor I tend. I'm Carmelo and this is my good friend and colleague Sasha. Anybody that's watched this before knows the format, but we take 10 short minutes to look at a upcoming launch. Today we're going to be looking at SecondLive. It is diversified metaverse focused on building social networks and supporting creator economic activities. I don't know what to make of that, Sasha. What do you think SecondLive is all about?
I don't know. It's an interesting name. I think I've heard a lot of those words before, strung together in different ways. And it sounds like, how many of these metaverses are we going to see that are just competing against each other for like bringing people on and creating things and then like interacting with each other? It seems like a competitive space, and I'm not sure what Second Life is doing, but I guess the reason we're here is because they're launching a token, and we're
Yep.
about to figure out why they're launching a token and if it's something that we're going to invest into or we would invest into. And so I guess just to give our viewers a little bit more info, for those of you that are new to this, we take 10 short minutes to figure out what this token is and if it's something that we would invest in. So stick around till the end for our verdicts, where we say either we give it a thumbs up for yes or a thumbs sideways for maybe, a thumbs down for nope, we've seen too many red flags. I have a feeling I'm not going to like this one so much. I'm kind of sick of metaverses.
I've been sick of metaverses for a few years, and actually, I think this might be the first metaverse we've seen in a while. So I'm interested. Maybe this is the start of another metaverse season. Maybe not. Maybe they're just late to the table. So let's see.
Yeah, yeah, maybe they've just been like waiting in the rafters for a long time. But without any further ado, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and start the clock and dive right in.
Yep, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All
Second
right,
Live.
we're starting right. Meow, 10 minutes on the clock. And we've got crypto rank up here. And the second live page, as you mentioned, it's a diversified metaverse focused on building social networks and supporting creator economic activities. What does diversified mean?
I don't know, but I think people are too quick to focus on metaverse, and we haven't even solved. I haven't seen crypto solve social networks yet, let alone a metaverse. So it's kind of hard to believe that they're going to do both, or anybody for not just to pick on them, but anybody that claims so boldly that they're going to diversify and create the next metaverse and social network where people can be empowered to create content. It's a little bit hard to believe.
Yeah, and check this out. Tier one investor is Binance Labs. That's a big deal. And I'm assuming that they're going to be launching on BNB chain, maybe among other chains. But you see, like, how many hundreds of metaverse startups have we seen over the past several years? And what is the differentiating factor about this one that drives Binance to lead the round or just lead the investment in general? Is it something they're incubating, or is it something that like they see they're building a really strong product or use case of to like integrate into their entire ecosystem? That would be the reason why I would see them investing in a metaverse at this stage. But I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, I mean the information is limited. It might just be a grant, and they just throw it up there as a lead investor. But either way, it's impressive nonetheless. But Binance, like any other chain, needs to build. They need to incentivize projects to build on their chain to bring it more network
Mm.
effect for their blockchain environment. So of course they gotta pick something in every key niche. So this is their metaverse play. I think they've had several metaverse plays though, so they're not even just limiting it to one. But you're right. Like I'm interested to see what Binance Labs and all of these other tier two, tier three supposed investors see in this. Why they're so happy to invest in this.
Yeah, absolutely. I see some names here that I recognize.
Yeah.
And so, this is interesting. We can even reach out to some of these individuals and see why they invested or like what do they see in this afterwards. But I do notice there's an IEO on Gate, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But here's a valuation of 30 million for this metaverse startup. I guess we're gonna find out if that's appropriate or not. Oh, I'm sorry. FDV of 150 million. Wow, that's big.
Wow. Yeah. I was going to say 30 is very reasonable, especially with the cutback in more realistic valuations for newly launching tokens. But 150 is wild. And they're probably, that has a lot to do with who's backing them, Binance Labs. But I don't know. That feels like absurdly high for me right now. I think that's enough of a red flag to stop the video right here. But for the sake of it, let's keep going.
I mean, they got some big shoes to fill with that valuation. Let's see, what this company is all about and what the token does. So here's the website. Opening it up right now. The first thing I see is Binance logo, like, just plastering that everywhere.
Binance Labs like we'll invest, but you got to make sure that our logo is the first thing that anybody sees.
Oh man, this is already not a good start. I covered this in our 3 token launches video, and I took a little jab at SecondLive. I said, and I quote, "backed by Binance and built for weeboos." But like, if this is the first thing that you're showing people visiting your website on a 150 million value token supply valuation, Binance backed company, like, I'm not a fan of that. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what to expect. This isn't even a good loop.
Yeah, it's a hell of a first impression to give. I mean, they're obviously touting AI as a big part of this, and who knows what's actually powering that. You can make whole videos or write a book about, doing the technical due diligence needed for something so comprehensive like the AI, or just to see if it's not another ChatGPT wrapper. But it AI agents are pretty interesting, and that might be a huge narrative in the future. But more than likely, the narrative for them right now is like, I want a Japanese comic girlfriend that I can talk to when I'm feeling lonely, which is probably the saddest use case for AI that I could possibly think of.
I mean, context aside, let's look at this from like a legitimate angle. That's a very niche market
Yeah,
to try and break into, and it's very competitive. And so what I'm seeing here, like from a high level, is number one, the hero text is potentially like an entirely different URL. Like, is this a different company? Am I going to go to mycompanion.ai and see if that's a different product or
yeah.
a different startup? And then they're just plastering the logos of all their backers here. So they're seeking validation. I don't really know. I don't see any call to action really besides signing up here next to the Binance logo. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of what we see so far. And then you've got
This
pick
is
your
a
pills,
this is really upsetting. This is so embarrassingly crypto degen. Uh,
tender and sweet companion, calm and steadfast friendship. Man, what is it? Schadenfreude, like, secondhand embarrassment.
Schadenfreude. No,
Schadenfreude.
that's taking delight in somebody's bad situation.
There might be a little bit of that after the token launch. We'll see. But I mean, like, I don't. There, it doesn't scroll to anything else. This is it. So, what are you seeking, Mellow? Tender and sweet companionship, or calm and steadfast friendship?
I think I'm gonna go with the blue pill just to keep it
Uh,
PG. Are they
okay.
insinuating this is unsavory if you pick the red pill?
I don't know, but you've got to log in, and I'm not going to connect anything here. But I think our goal still remains the same. We've got several minutes left to figure out why are they launching a token for an AI companion platform, and would we invest in it? I see
I think
marketplace.
earn might be what we're looking for because it might have. I saw staking and bounty that might have some. We haven't seen any mention of the token itself yet. So not only we don't know what this does, but we don't know why a token is necessary. And it looks like they have two different tokens here. Users can stake Bean to earn live. I don't know what either one of those are, and
Yeah,
that looks extremely degen. There's wow, just out of context, this is like a whole different project in its own right. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, like, naming your token live is fine, but there's no information about the token. They haven't introduced the digital asset or what it does. All we know is there's an AI waifu, and then you can mine Bean. I don't even know why they're calling it Bean. That seems very out of context.
Yeah, and I made a post the other day about this fake FBI token that just launched, just as a honeypot to catch bad market makers. And I was talking about how like the website is geared towards like who you would imagine this website's geared towards, like is mentioning income and just making money for staking beans to get live. And it seems like they're not even trying to hide the fact that this doesn't do anything. It's just a money making harvest or mining, whatever when we build rewards into ecosystems, when we're designing a token economy, you want to like bring value to get value back. But it seems like there's no value of staking bean tokens to get live tokens. Like, what does that do?
Well, we haven't seen any info yet, but here's a marketplace, and I'm just seeing some strange looking JPEGs. So I don't know what they're selling here.
And it's
Um,
all BNB tokens too, so there's still no token. Native token is not involved here. It's just like you could easily ask yourself, why not just use BNB as the asset for all of this, right?
yeah, we're running out of time, so let's check out Docs, and maybe we could figure out like what the token's about. But apparently, this is a hub for metaverse inhabitants. More than 1 million users are gathered here. Where are these numbers coming from, man? Do you have users, or are you just guessing you're going to get 1 million users?
Are they? I don't even think the metaverse as a concept has a million users, like all the metaverse.
I mean, you could dress up as your avatar and just hang out in virtual spaces. This might devolve into something really strange if everyone's just like a skirt wearing waifu. But we got to figure out where the token is and what the token does. So there's
Dual
two tokens:
token.
a governance live token and an incentive token bean. And so live is the adhesive that binds all members of the community together, and the governance token of the whole platform. And beans are used to stimulate the output of various behaviors of users on the platform, including operating space, experiencing games, creating content. Okay, so I don't know what to think here. Like, what are the different actions that you could take? Really, like, what are these people doing in this metaverse, and why
Why
are they
would you?
building like, pseudo anonymous
Where's the
avatars?
governance token come into? Like, why would think about this? Like, you're probably. I'm imagining the fundraising asset is the governance token.
Yeah.
Why would I invest in governing this? Unless I'm
Well,
just
you have voting
speculating.
rights and you have voting governance,
Yeah,
apparently.
but there's no unless there's money to be made, which it seems like there isn't. Uh, the governance seems like irrelevant, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're giving voting rights for people to make technical changes to the protocol and approve decisions, that's not a very strong use case for me to want to invest into your asset. Like, I don't know what those changes are. I don't know how those changes might affect the value of my investment.
Yep.
And you can apparently initiate proposals, and yeah, it's very vague, right?
Considering this
Well,
is the primary utility for their fundraising asset, this is barely any information. Like, you could just ask ChatGPT to whip up something more solid than that in like five
oh
seconds.
man,
Oh,
that's
really though? It's upsetting if that's your primary use case. To justify one asset, not to mention two, that's a lack of information if I've ever seen it.
well, I
Kind
think we might have enough of a preview to dive into our verdicts. But before we do, I'd like to remind all of our viewers to smash that like button if you're enjoying this content, if you're enjoying our like I always say, irreverent wit and cynicism of some of the things in this industry, and throw us a follow if you are interested in seeing some more stuff coming up down the line. We got plenty more content coming. But yeah, let's dive into verdicts. Would you like me to go ahead, or would you like to start?
Yeah, go ahead. You go.
Okay. How do I say this without sounding like very negative? There's nothing about this that helps paint a picture to me why any of these investors decided to invest. And again, this might be one of those cases like we saw it in one of our previous videos where the company or the team just does a piss poor job of explaining what they're building and why it's important. But in this industry, in crypto, let's call it crypto, you always have to assume the worst, I think. And so I don't see any redeeming qualities about what this company is doing. I struggle to believe that they're going to gain users that simply want to build some strange anime looking avatars to hang out in some virtual space. I haven't seen any products or like mock ups or screenshots of their supposed metaverse, so I don't even know if a product exists. And I don't have any clue into why the token would be tied into any of this stuff. They've got not one but two tokens. And usually, when you see an ecosystem that consists of multiple fungible tokens for different reasons, You like to see like some nice explainer sections within the documentation or website, some flow charts, helping people understand like why is this necessary and why are you not just using this as some shady fundraising tool and you're just going to drive it into the ground later. You're going to take everyone's money and walk away. I have no clue why Binance or any of these other teams invested in this. And to be honest, I'm not willing to even dive in and learn more. I'm willing to just let this sit and ride and see what happens after the token launch. So that's one thumb down for me. Sorry, Second Live. Best of luck, I guess.
Yeah, pretty pretty much have to agree with you there. I'm going to start with the thumbs down. Obviously, this isn't perfect because we only get 10 minutes to digest the little bit of information we can actually sift through. But everything we covered in the video, like the website is an abomination. So when I go there, it immediately, people never, I don't think enough companies think about this. Like they think about who am I talking to, but they don't think about who am I scaring away with what I'm putting forward, with my marketing, with the memes I put on Twitter, with the website. Like it, that might cater to a very small demographic, and maybe they're going for this meme angle because memes are picking up steam right now. But I don't know. I don't see any real innovation. I'm thinking to myself, if Binance Labs actually invested in this, then why didn't they just invest and make it BNB token powers everything? It makes more sense if you're a blockchain trying to build up your ecosystem to just invest in products or platforms or companies that just use your own token to strengthen use case for all your users on your chain. So that seems like a more sensible play than having a dual token economy and trying to justify more people to raise funds from, maybe for Binance Labs or Binance to dump on. Like, I don't know what their end game is. There's no acquisition, there's no merger, there's no exit really for Binance. So they're kind of banking on this becoming a major ecosystem asset that the token will pump and people will buy it. I don't see that happening, especially for a governance token. So if we were able to call this what it is, it's basically, it feels a lot like a security. So if it was a security, then total fair game, but that's illegal and they're representing it as a utility token. So I don't know. I don't see anything worth looking into further here. I think the only interesting thing about this is its backers, and we kind of understand why the backers are there a little bit. Binance Labs, at least. I don't understand why these other tier 2, tier 3 investors are in on this. But anyways, that's a little bit harsh, and I know I'm going to end up meeting this team or the Binance Labs team at a future conference and feel really bad about this review. But I guess that's the game we're playing here. We're critical. So yeah, thank you for joining us for another harsh 10-minute investor eye test today. Like Sasha said, subscribe, or tell us why we're wrong. Shout at us in the comments. That's okay too. We enjoy that as well. And hope to see you next week on another 10-minute investor eye test. And stay tuned for future content. Ciao, everybody.
Ciao, y'all. I feel violated.